now where I am is super windy, so forgive me if you hear just like a lot of noise right now. But today I wanted to kind of vent a lot and talk about my life lately. For some of you who may or may not know, basically I've been kind of like a nomad and hippie and houseless person by choice for almost going on 8 years now. And I always tell people when they ask me about my life, like, it's a really crazy choice that I ever made and I continue to make. And it's a lot of things that started me on this journey. I credit a lot of books and media that I was learning and researching in my 20s. I'm 32 now, but in my mid 20s, I just had this, like, in my 20s and all my life, I had this like yearning feeling for seeking knowledge and seeking truth. And a lot of the books that I was reading in my 20s about spirituality and self-awareness, and even like being inspired by like camping life and traveling on little to no money in my 20s, I made this oath with myself basically in my 20s that I would try to travel on little to no money, solely using my craft, my tarot craft. And at the time, people were really glamorizing this lifestyle. I'm not gonna hold you. And I think now we have more people trying to tell like the raw truth of this lifestyle, but it's not glamorous at all. And being a woman, like I grew up like pretty much having all my needs met, and so a lot of it was really harsh at times, not having everything I need to feel like 100% like feminine and things like that, for example. And it's just a harsh life at times. Like, my last real job was basically working on a cruise ship in Hawaii years ago, and I was making good money, but I wasn't happy. And I've gone through so many different lifestyles in life. And this time, and it's been times where I lived like the perfect life of just doing what I was supposed to, and I was just never fucking happy. And that last job, I took the money and basically jump ship in Maui. And ever since, I've been just thug life, thugging it out pretty much. Before I ran out of money in Maui, my friend at the time was like, "Why don't you just go to Cali? So at least if you run out of money, you can start working there or whatever." And I've had this journey where I always travel to hot places with beaches too, where I know people are gonna be, so I can make money on the beach and things of that nature. And so fast forward to like 32 now, I've been on this journey and I'm still like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And a lot of it has also been my idea of what it means to heal. I'm a very rebellious person, and it's a very underrated path to take as a Black woman. And till this day, I'm fucking insane, bro. Like, I know at the time when I started solo, I was very inspired by solo women travelers coming out at the time, and it's always been these things. But for me, coming from my background, it just seems like the craziest thing. Like, I grew up like, from an Air Force family, or a very image-based family, or very like, you need to have your shit together, and just to completely choose the hippie path has been insane. And people do not treat hippies good at all. Like, the idea of hippie, the way we think of it in like the 60s and stuff like that, like, man, I wish. Like, we have a lot of people who cosplay spirituality now and cosplay being hippie, and you really just get treated like a bum. And even still, I still choose this life. I don't know what's wrong with me, but apparently I haven't gotten it out of my system yet. And it's sad lately. I just feel really heavy because I get stereotyped a lot. Like, for since being in the real world, like, I've been dealing with so much more racism than I can ever fucking imagine. The world can be very fucking cruel, And I chose this life too because I wanted to see the truth of life and like where it would lead me, not all the bullshit that we've been taught or like the lies that we've been taught of like what we should be doing a lot of the time or what should make us happy. And I think for someone like me, people think I shouldn't be living this life or something. And I don't know, I get stereotyped a lot. I get stereotyped for like, obviously like the way I express myself, my tattoos. You know, as you get older, you get like ageism thrown in there, colorism, anti-blackness. I get stereotyped for not acting black enough, or the black people think I should be acting. I get stereotyped for being intellectual and not just pretty. I get stereotyped for being around certain hierarchies in towns that I go to, where there's a lot of competitive energy with women and just hierarchies of whiteness. And so I get punished a lot lately. Like, the world claims that it wants authenticity, but like the way that things have been going lately, it's just been really, really fucking hard. And competitiveness with women and men who think I'm like, the way that my attractiveness shows up in the world, they think I have it all together or something, and I'm a fucking poor hippie. And and some people might think like, oh, just get a fucking job, but I'm really dedicated wholeheartedly to my path, and I've like fucked up many times, and I've lost certain YouTube accounts I was working on. I've been so many paths, and I don't know. I just can't go. I can't trade on my spirit, and a lot of why I chose this path too is like, even though people believe heavily in like ableism and everything, like even during the pandemic, my body crashed the fuck out on me, and I was in bed for long periods of time, and I don't know, I just feel like if I'm gonna die on this fucking planet, I'm gonna die on my terms. And I don't think we live in a world where there's much real freedom, in my opinion. And freedom is actually, it comes with a price, and and a lot of times we live in systems that punish people for being free. Like, you see how they criminalize poverty and homelessness and everything, and they really don't want us free, in my opinion. Governments and places and everything. And so even in Mexico, there's people who try to get rid of the hippies, or they have artisans for the aesthetic of things. But yeah, but for some reason in my journey when I first started, it was much different as well. Like, yes, there were hardships, but I feel like it was, I don't know if it was ever easier. It was more fun, in my opinion. But now it seems like after the pandemic, and now that Trump is in office, and a lot of places are trying to mimic oppression of people, like, folks are trying to oppress more like indigenous, black folks, minorities. They really want us in like heavy servitude modes, places where there's heavy tourism and colonialism. They really just don't want us like free or shining in our own right, which has been fucking with my head lately. But yeah, this whole video was meant to just say I'm so fucking tired of being stereotyped, because I feel like as a black woman, as a black person, you already kind of go through life being demonized and being told that you're bad off rip. And I worked through a lot of that conditioning. And I don't hate myself. I think a lot of people will have a problem with me not hating myself and not being like, not bowing down, basically. And plus, I'm a spiritualist. I heal others. I've helped a lot of people in my life. But there are people who constantly want to discredit me, undermine me, ruin my like reputations or whatever. And the way I see myself is just not how the world sees me lately. Like, even since going my path of Islam for a year, I have really deep morality and integrity. And it seems like people have been trying so hard to just like paint me as the opposite. Or I get stereotyped a lot because I'm kind and quiet and introverted a lot of times when I'm not. I'm a very peaceful and content person. Like, my baseline is just like calm water, in my opinion. And I think because a lot of people aren't at peace themselves, or they don't know what to do with quietness and stuff, like, I get projected on a lot for that. And it's just a mess. And like wrap that all up in choosing an unconventional path of tarot reading where people still don't always fuck with tarot. And it's just a hot mess. And even with all the hardships, I still choose this path. And again, I mostly do it too because I want to see the truth of the world. Like, I want to see not people saying that they're good people. I want to see how they treat people who are downtrodden, who have nothing, who, you know, exist outside of consumerism and capitalism. Like, I want to see the real shit. And seeing as I'm not dead, it's not all bad. So, I don't know. That's just how I see it still. And like I said, I'm very rebellious. And I think I still have so much noise. A lot of shit to get out of my system. In one regard, like, people see that I'm like free, I'm choosing this path or whatever, or they project a lot onto me. And a lot of people try to make my life harder for some reason, which is part of the cruelty of the world, which is so fucked up in my opinion. And a lot of this is teaching me what I don't want to be like. I always think, like, if I have all these resources that people have, would I want to just oppress people for no reason? And I'm like, not really. It's shitty. So that's where I stand. It's just my little vent. And I don't like the conception, the misconception people put on black women that we're so strong, or like when you seem put together, you're not dealing with shit. Like, I'm dealing with shit all the time because people are making my life harder on purpose. And I don't think we live in a just and fair world where if you just work hard, you figure out your purpose and passion, that's it. I think it's too many people who are lost, who get off on controlling others, who frankly, in this world, we normalize violence and bullying too much, too. And I just don't work like that. I don't fucking want to treat people bad, and like in return, I get fucking treated bad and stomped on. Yeah. And so I don't necessarily too believe in the ideas of success the way our society puts it. I believe we're supposed to be more soul searching. And we don't still really do that. With all the self-help books and all the spiritual leaders and all the knowledge we have, we still don't have people who are courageous enough to go to the deep end. And I think the life path that I've chosen has made me very wise. That's another thing I get judged on, because people feel like, well, I should have this at this age, at this stage. And I'm like, but bro, you didn't live the same life or the same hardships. You didn't take the same oath. Like, you can't skip steps. And yeah, I'm just tired of it. And I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I still love myself. I still honor my journey. And I don't think people understand that lately. And it's fucking with me. And just a double-edged sword too, of like who can be considered free. Like where I am, it's a lot of rich kids cosplaying spirituality and all this shit. And when I took this oath for years, and I don't know where it's going. I don't know. I don't think at 32 I was expecting to still be doing this, but like, if it's a journey and you're continuing on it, like, who's to say when it's supposed to end? Maybe it's just evolving to something different. And even my path right now, I'm volunteering in a hostel, so that's kind of like how I've been surviving, just being adaptable and things of that nature. But I'm not a fan of the people who purposely get in my path lately. And yeah. And I've been watching, I stumbled upon this like 19-year-old girl, I think, who's documenting her being homeless after she left her family, because it resonates a lot with me. I feel like people like this are very courageous. Like, I left my family initially to heal, and I was talking about a lot of like abuse in society and in family units at the time that I left. And she just inspired me to be more vulnerable about my life and things. And my life is definitely not so polished. Like, I like to show my wisdom side, my mystic side, and everything. And again, because I think people think because I keep myself put together that I'm not going through it at times. But like, we have to expand our idea of what it means to be strong or resilient or going through things. Like, people aren't going to always look like they're going through something as well. Or like, we have a really thin idea of like who's allowed grace and support and help. And so like I have a really polarizing fucking identity for some reason, or essence, where people like they either want to put me on this like weird pedestal with my gifts and then knock me down, or they don't want to let me have access with anything in the first place, which is like fucking fucked up. And I'm learning, like right now I feel sort of free where I am right now, but I'm trying to like lean into like understanding when I don't feel that freedom energy anymore, to just keep it pushing. But yeah, this is just part one of this, of being nomadic for like 8 years now. I slowed down a lot in my 30s. I slowed down a lot. Of course, during the pandemic, I've had to learn how to rest. When I first started, it was just like month after month, moving places, going somewhere different. Only a backpack and being a minimalist and things of that nature. And the reason I talk about it, because I don't know if people know that people who look like me do this shit. And so yeah, this is my life so far. What will it evolve into? Who knows? And am I crazy? Yes. So yeah, that's how I feel right now. And just food for thought of just event. Maybe you guys have some input about this, or maybe you just need a mirror or something.